as this is my last video of 2022, I thought I would do a video going over the characters I believe made a very large impact in the game, whether that be PVE or PvP. They'll be in no particular order, and also at the end I'll have a few honourable mentions. So first and foremost, we're going to go with the most broken character of the year. Of course, whilst I'm recording this video, Purgatory Meliodas is out, but that is for JP only. It will only be coming to global on the 3rd of January, which is 2023, so this is a global only sort of list. And I'll only be talking about characters that released this year. So that starts from Traitor Melly. Traitor Melly was the first character released this year, and Christmas Downfall Liz was the last character released this year. So first and foremost, we've got Escanor, the strongest character currently in the game. Broken death damage, single target card. It's insane, with an AoE that is completely broken, with a broken ultimate, that has a passive to it. He has a passive to his ultimate, with the ability not to be debuffed. Or stat lowered. He can be debuffed, just can't be stat lowered. He does have some decent outfits. This is kind of a dead outfit, I'm not gonna lie. Could definitely have been much better. But he is the first one. Next, we've got Philo, the ability to one-shot any team turn 1. She is stupidly broken. She may even be able to one-shot the new demon teams. We don't know yet. As recording this video, Melly has just released on JP, so never know. Maybe she can still one-shot. The ability that her relic increases her attack-related stats with her passive that lowers enemies' defense-related stats with a weak point AoE card, it's game over. Her stats are actually very good themselves. She definitely came out on top when it came to the Rising of the Shotaro collab. She was the one who I believe they had adjusted before her launch to make sure that she would work very well with unknown teams, especially Merlin. On to this is the third one, which is Reinhardt. The ability to ult rush and one-shot people turn 1 so casually. I do have him 6/6. I did not spend money or whale. I only got his diamond outfit. That he is a character that was able to just one-shot. A Sever and a Flood card, both HP based. We all know that HP based characters are the most broken due to the fact that they are based off HP, which can scale much higher than stats like attack and defense. Attack being the one I believe can scale the least, and HP being the most. Of course, I used to run him with HP defense. You can run him HP crit down. I run him HP defense. Don't actually use him anymore, as he fell off in the meta not very quickly, but when characters like what's his name, Escanor dropped, he can still be one-shot by Escanor. If you are super lucky, you can get evasion constantly, or immortality, or stat buff. But if not, he still gets one-shot, but he was a very game-changing character. When he released, the ability to just, your entire team gets wiped, don't worry, Reinhardt's here. He can just still nuke the entire enemy team, especially if he was 6/6. On to the next character, which is Estarossa. The comeback, the thing that the demons needed to come back into meta was Estarossa. The ability that he has to remove buffs. And it only works in PvP, which is also very useful as well. As when you're playing PvE, he doesn't affect you. His passive being that you can apply Darkness and Encroachment. Darkness means you take damage taken is decreased. So damage taken for the enemy is increased, and you gain more stats per Darkness, which is actually pretty insane. It stacks up to 10 times as well. As well as when you get the Encroachment, it lowers stats. At the time, Diane was very prevalent. And Diane was a tank beast. She had Red Tarmiel Link, which practically made her immortal if you didn't have Red Tarmiel. The difference between a Red Tarmiel Diane and a non-Red Tarmiel Diane was insane. Really noticeable, but he was definitely able to control that. I would say he probably got shafted by the time he came out, as he didn't drop with support characters. So if we now think about it, most of the time now a festival is not dropped with support characters, and later on gets the support characters to try and get you to summon for the festival, and then they release support characters. What I mean by that is, talk about Estarossa. Estarossa came out, no demons came out, and then all of a sudden you had new Zeldris, you had new Chandler, and new Cusack. 3 different demons that were very helpful for him, and obviously the new Purgatory Melly. It's a new one. But, yeah, he was good. I want to say he was good until Philo dropped. because Merlin was still gonna. Merlin's good if she's whaled. If she's not whaled, she's not really the best. But when Philo dropped, it was a completely different story. The ability that she can just lower all the defense-related stats and just wipe a team with one card. She is the Wedding Day Brynhild of collabs. Next one. Obviously, these are the characters I do have, so the honorable mentions may even be characters I do not have. This is Jormungandr. Jormungandr was a character that released for Deer, but she was like... She made Deer be like super hard to like ICBA to do this, to like this is so easy. Because of her passive. And I believe that currently, the fact that we only need one character for Deer, so she's the only character needed for Deer to make Deer very easy. And if we look about it, if we look at dogs currently, you need Red Toner, you need Freya, which are already two characters. So let's just say you got both those characters like out of pity, which I had to do, means that that's 842 diamonds, plus when they release a third character, because we know they will. It'll probably end up being Freya, as her animations just recently changed. She'll be another 600, so you're looking at like 1400 just to be dogs. If you think about it, for the other two, you only need Magelda for bird and Jormungandr for deer. But I guess dogs is completely different, and thankfully what's her name? Tonar is also getting a relic as well to help her with dogs, especially. On to the next one, which is Rimuru, who at the time had super stupidly high stats. Like, his crit chance at the time was broken, now that's decently low. But he had a Pierce, he had Infect, he had a Pierce card, his relic boosts his Pierce rate by a stupid amount, he could devour buffs, which at the time, Traitor Melee, of course, who used to buff himself, used to just devour the buffs, and then just nuke, because of his Abyss ultimate. And also the fact that he, after devouring a certain number of buffs, or a certain number of turns, you'd get 130% extra Pierce rate, plus this, so what's that, 210, plus whatever he's got. It was actually insane. He was a very good character. I also got him 6/6 without wailing on him. I do also have his diamond outfit as well, which is also very good. On to the next one. We have Red Tarmiel, probably one of the most broken links in the game, still to this day. If you don't have him, you're already at a heavy disadvantage, because everyone else has him. And the fact that he can disable your skills nowadays is kind of broken, because most ultimates or most skills are only broken not because of the person's passive, but because of the actual effect of the card. For example, if you were to take Escanor, the Ultimate One's Escanor AoE card, if you take away the effect of the AoE, not going to do any damage at all, because it's so broken with the effect. On to the next one, which is Queen Diane. At the time of her release, she was horrible. Red Tarmiel dropped, and she was a menace to PvP. Her ability to have a minimum damage that she can hit, which is 100k when her passive is at max, is stupid. And the fact it works in PvE as well, even better. And now we have Liz. So Liz was sort of the redemption for the goddesses, as she was the last goddess we got, I believe, not including, you know, event characters like Christmas Downfall is. She's a goddess, right, but not really a goddess. But the ability to heal your entire team, if they're the 7 Deadly Sins or an Archangel, sort of brought back the meta of multi-race teams, because at the time it was very, either you're running full humans or full goddesses, or, you know, you're doing something along the lines of that, or unknowns, because unknowns were still very good at the time, and they still are today. She's HP based, that means, you know, this card is the card I hate the most in the game, probably. The fact that she can AoE and wipe your entire team with a level 2 card. It's very fun. She also has a Res Ultimate, which is kind of broken, because at between 1/6 and 3/6 it is a normal buff, but at between 4/6 and 6/6 it is a grey buff that cannot be removed, and at 6/6 it lasts for 2 turns, which is very broken, as well as this does scale as well. Let me actually show you. Here, this is a normal buff. 4/6, obviously it does become grey, but it doesn't actually tell you it becomes grey. And then you see 30% max HP, and then 50% lasting 2 turns. Of course, this multiplier is higher than Barnes. Barnes is capped at 45%, but Barnes at 6/6 does also have Rupture as well, which if you take Rupture into consideration, it takes Barnes' damage to actually 90%. It means Barnes is still very powerful, but Liz is also very powerful as well. And the first character that released this year, Traitor Melee. The ability to increase his own stats, as well as give damage reduction to your team, is a very strong ability. The fact that an 100k damage card can deal 60k because you have max stacks of his passive is insane. He also has a Cleave ultimate, which is very good, removes buffs and stances on lower stats. Cleave is also a very strong effect as well, still even to this day. And you've got Pierce AoE, which is very strong. He has like base, very high pierce rate, as well as crit chance and crit damage. And Amplify is still a very powerful card today, and Trait Melee is still used today for specific things, like some people, I actually still use him for Bird, and I still use him for OG Demon, because he's a very powerful character. He may be old, but he's a very powerful character and still very useful. And that's it. Now I'm going to get on to some honourable mentions, which is this Toner, which I spoke about earlier. This isn't her actual outfit, this is a Christmas outfit, but she was used for dogs, and she is very broken. Pardon me. As I'm making this video, next week on Global, you'll be getting her relic, which will really help her with dogs, increasing stats, and I'll go over that when the patch notes drop. Much easier then. And another honourable mention was Naofumi. Naofumi, a very good tank. The ability to revive himself, as well as being a one-man army. He was, for a while, a one-man army. People were scared to attack him because of how broken he is. And still to this day, he is very broken, especially with the new constellation system which they're adding, which enables... no, sorry, not the new constellation system, but the box CC systems being updated, meaning that you now gain all stats when you hit certain milestones for box CC, which means that you can also increase your defense, which will be very useful for Naofumi as he's fully defense-based. Is there any other broken characters that released this year that I can think of? Mono was very good, but I think she immediately got shafted, because Brynhild, which is an honorary mention, is broken. She was the main sole reason a Ragnarok team existed. She thrived with Ragnarok characters. Her weak point AoE card, meaning that you could one-shot an entire team turn one. Her relic was meaning she could only be debuffed once, which means characters that were going to debuff her couldn't debuff her. And she was actually very good against characters like what was his name? Esterosa, Festival Esterosa, because if they were running Sariel Link, the Sariel Link would always take advantage over the encroachment, meaning that she would not be encroached and she would instead have the 8% lowered crit chance, stuff like that, which is insane. Because the ability to one-shot, I do like the fact that they did give her a crappy single target card, not to make her like fully broken, but charge is a horrible effect that I believe needs to be updated. Ultimate is still the same. Ultimate does scale as well with ult level. And this is her passive. Yeah, her passive is stupid. The ability to lower attack and defense related stats, as well as increasing her own stats, which if you don't know, the other Brynhild, the green Brynhild, also increases her own stats depending on her allies on the field as well, but that one's less picky. This one is more picky, requires Ragnarok characters, which then brought characters like Sigurd, Ragnarok Diane, which currently had no use at the time. She got a relic, which made her completely broken. Brynhild being released, which made it even more broken, and then Ragnarok Barn in the back, which actually got added to the Ragnarok section. If you go to filters and characteristics, he's under Ragnarok now to make this this team even more broken, which they knew what they were doing when they made her. But yeah, that's it. If you enjoyed this video, or if you have any other opinions on people who are the top character of this year, please let me know in the comments. And anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.